Welcome back to another special edition of On the Spot. My name is Ryan Mack. I'm president of Optimum Capital Management, and we are here with All About Business, the youth financial literacy soldiers on the rise. These young men have been, and this group has been all the way from California to South Africa teaching financial literacy, learning financial literacy, then teaching financial literacy on the streets and taking it right to you. Again, many folks say that college students and younger do not have the ability to articulate themselves. They're not interested in financial literacy or healthcare reform or education. On this show, on this stage right now, we are proving them wrong, again, with All About Business. So we have a whole series of topics that these young men have researched and they want to talk about today. So I'm just letting them go. I want to get back and get out of the way and let them express themselves to you also, kind of brag about what their intellectual capital is really all about. The next topic that we want to talk about is the real estate markets. And Dwayne, tell us a little bit about what's going on with the real estate economy. What's going on with housing? Are we going to come back and recover?
You know, real estate market is a very volatile market right now, and what's happening is that the homebuyer tax credit, the $8,000 tax credit that was implemented a few months ago, is actually being successful right now, and it's responsible for over 400,000 homes that's bought this year, and also making up 47% of sales according to the National Association of Realtors. Now, buyers, it's been extended into June 30th. And what happened is that buyers have to basically close on a property by June 30th. And what that means is for the real estate economy right now, it's going to be an improvement. As in, by this year, it's going to raise the sales by around 2%, and next year, for the first quarter or first and second quarter, it's going to raise about 13.6%. And that is great, but it's kind of right now it's a situation where it's Peter robbing Paul. And what's it taken away from is that what's going to happen in the second quarter of the real estate economy, or what's going to happen in the second quarter where the home buyers are incentivized right now to purchase a property. Now, what's going to happen if unemployment rate stays at 10.2% and even is expected to go to 11%? So, you know, that's where the big question is right now. And what we need to get done is that we need to move into a system where we need to begin to create jobs, recover the real estate market, get going with the middle class, and improve our economy and consumer confidence. And I believe the real estate, which makes up about 20% of the economy right now, as far as the jobs that's created, the homes that are built in reference to construction, I think that would be a major aspect to it.
So in terms of, so where are we going with this housing market? I mean, you definitely made some good points. How do we go about expanding the economy? What are your thoughts about what's our next phase in this housing economy? Because I know a lot of people are worried out there.
Well, I think the real estate market is sort of, the recovery of the real estate market will be sort of a byproduct of the economy recovering in large. I think, and this is my opinion, that this tax credit that they're extending is a little bit irresponsible. And I feel that way for several reasons. One, if the unemployment rate is at 10% and it's projected to go to maybe 11% within the next year, and a lot of these people who are going to become unemployed are people who would qualify for loans on homes. So if you're going to give someone a mortgage for a home, and the possibility is that they will lose their job within the next year or so, you just sort of, you know, stabilizing the patient at this point. Like, it's sort of analogous to the cash flow clunkers thing in what was it, July. Cash flow clunkers, you had a pop in auto sales because you had $2 billion injected into the industry. You had this cash flow clunkers, it was great. But the following month, you just look at the numbers, they just pretty much fell off a cliff. So it's pretty much just, it's almost as if you're artificially inflating the numbers to you know, strengthen consumer confidence for some reason. So I don't necessarily agree with this credit at this point.
Well, I understand what you're saying in reference to that. However, what's happening now is that, you see, we don't have the inflated prices of 2005, 2006 anymore. What happened is that home values have gone down. They have reduced drastically. And now the banks with the subprime mortgage lending, a lot of banks have learned their lessons from that and are requiring up to 10 to 20% down payment, which means that you will have equity in your home in case something does happen. So with that, they are also requiring higher credit of 700 or higher in reference to, you know, purchasing a home, and in collateralizing a little bit more. So especially with the value of real estate, we have seen property go from 90 cents on the dollar, people buying 90 cents to even up to 30 cents on the dollar. So in reference to the home buyer tax credit, I believe that the problem with it is that it's taking away the buyers that are going to buy in the future or in the middle of next year, in the spring or whatnot, or in June, from and then putting them into, concentrating them into right now between the 6 months from November to June, and making them purchase now instead of if they were supposed to be purchasing next year.
So you're essentially saying that you're just elongating. And so instead of individuals purchasing homes when they would naturally purchase homes next year, you're putting them right now, therefore kind of making a lopsided demand structure, which is going to make an unsustainable economy for the long run.
Exactly. And what happened also is that in September, when people realized that this tax credit is going to be up in November, the sales for contracts or contracts that were supposed to be closing or go into or people coming in to get mortgages went drastically down. So that might happen if this unemployment rate stays this high.
So Manny, let me ask you this. So what, in terms of additional debt, how do you feel about this debt? Because Terrell made a great point. Individuals, we got into this recession initially because we gave out too much debt. So now the response to that, we got the Cash for Clunkers program with the additional tax credit program. We're giving essentially allowing homeowners to get into more debt. How do you feel about that? Where's the direction of this economy going now?
Well, this turn, in my opinion, this is not an issue of the real estate market or the auto industry or the finance industry. It's more so a civic responsibility issue. Now, we are all members in society, and we have to interact with one another. And if I allow you to take out a loan that I know you cannot afford, I'm doing you a great injustice. So this tax credit seems to be, more harmful than good, especially considering the fact that delinquency payments are on the rise. How do you explain that?
Well, with the fact that the delinquency rate is on the rise right now, that delinquency rating actually is coming from people with good credit that purchased with around 2007, 2008 that are going in or losing their job and going into foreclosure or default. Mm-hmm. Now, see, what's happening now with the tax credit is that they are implemented, the people currently with good credit in this bad economic time and with the money are purchasing property on 40 to 30% or 30 cents on the dollar, which means that, hey, when the real estate market comes back, and right now with the fact that they can afford the property, mm-hmm. when the real estate market bounces back, they will have a high amount of equity in their property.
So let me ask Marquise. Marquise, what are some good strategies out there for individuals looking to purchase a home? What should they be doing to get themselves ready to buy a home responsibly?
Well, you want to make sure that you clean up your FICO score, make sure you have a decent amount of credit. You want to make sure it's a 700 or better, like Dwayne said. Just the general stuff, making sure that you save that 20% before you actually go ahead and purchase that home. You want to make sure that you have the money to put down before you try to go out there. I don't think that you should go and get a house to try to get rich. You should try to get a house when you're actually set up to get a house. So you want to make sure that your money's stashed away in a high yield savings account. You want to make sure that you have the proper amount of credit, or just pretty much like the 7 steps that we do. Make sure that everything is in order before you go out there and get it, because if you want to go get it and you don't have the tools or you're not set up properly in order to go get a house, I mean, you're going to fail, and it's going to be another subprime lending market kind of.
And I think you touched on something that sort of concerns me as well, because a lot of people are sort of predicting that the real estate market has either hit a bottom or is close to a bottom. Now, with the nature of the economy, we're expecting in the near future, or not so distant future, that there are going to be increases in inflationary pressure. So you're going to have increased inflation. That's a very positive sign for real assets such as real estate. So the value of that mortgage or that real asset, the house, will increase during the inflationary period. So you may have people who speculate the market once again, and we're right back where we were in 2005. So you're going to look at people trying to flip homes and that type of stuff. So getting your own thing in order, not trying to get rich off of buying a house, is I think great advice to give people.